Hello. Hello.
Hello, yeah, it's audible. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Nice
madam.
meeting you. Nice meeting you. Nice to get your introduction from MGR Institute. Just a minute, Nana. Door close பண்ணுங்க. Yes, ma'am. ஆக்சுவலா வீட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு நல்லா saree எல்லாம் கட்டணும்னு நினைச்சேன். கொஞ்சம் பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் தான் இருக்காங்க, அதனால ஷேர் பண்றேன். பட் ஆபீஸ்ல டைம் ஆயிடுச்சு, இன்னைக்கு போக முடியல, ஹாஃப் டே எடுத்துட்டு. ஸோ ஐ எம் ஹியர். இங்க 4:30 ஆச்சு.
Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm
Yes.
Sharmila from TNT.
ஓ ஓகே மேம். மேம் நேத்து அதான் பார்த்தேன், நான் உங்க நேம் நான் யூடியூப்ல பார்த்தேன். வேற நேம், இன்னைக்கு வேற நேம்ல சைன் இன் பண்ணிருக்கீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
இல்ல சார் மேடம், அதுல லிங்க் வரல, கொஞ்சம் நெட்வொர்க் இஷ்யூ, அதனால வேற.
நைஸ் மீட்டிங் யூ மேம். Nice meeting you.
வெல்கம் மேடம், வெல்கம் மேடம். Geeta madam, shall we start or we will wait for 2 minutes?
We'll start, madam.
Okay, okay.
2 o'clock, no?
2 o'clock.
Good afternoon, dignitaries, invited guests, respected staff, and my dear participants. I welcome you all for the 5-day international online faculty development program on online-based education, jointly organized by Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University and Dr. MGR Educational Research Institute Faculty of Education. We are in our second day, second session. I feel very proud to welcome Professor P.C. Nagasubramani Sir, Registrar, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University. I also welcome Dr. Ma'am, Principal of Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, Faculty of Education. I welcome Dr. B. Sharmila Ma'am, Faculty Program, Teacher Education from MGR of Education and other participants. I welcome Dr. Priyadarshini Muthukrishnan Ma'am, the person of today's session. Today's session topic is course. May now welcome Dr. P. Jagannath, Assistant Professor, Department of Pedagogical Sciences, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, to introduce our resource person. Sir, please, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to everyone. I am very happy to introduce Dr. Priyadarshini Muthukrishnan madam. Madam is working as a senior lecturer in the Department of Education at University, Malaysia. Madam's qualification is MSc, MNt, MPhil, and PhD. Madam previous employment history, she worked from 2002-2001 and 2008-2009 as chemistry teacher and the science club advisory in Sri Satya Sai Matriculation School, Tirunelveli. And she also worked as 2004 and 2005 chemistry teacher in the Francis Xavier Matriculation School, Tirunelveli. And 2012-2014 senior chemistry teacher and the science club advisor in Pushpalata Vidyalaya, Vidya Mandir, Tirunelveli. And 2015-2018 lecturer cum PG program leader, Segi University, Malaysia. And lecturer cum PG program leader, Segi University, 2019. Madam presently working in senior lecturer in the Department of Education, Kelp University, Malaysia. Madam had administrative responsibilities such as Diploma in Educational Program Leader, Kelp University since July 2021. the program leader role in the 2018 and 19 in SEGI University. Madam is the UG final year research project coordinator at SEGI University in 2015 and 19. Madam is currently involved in teaching courses modular leader, PhD program, M.Ed program, BCE program, and a diploma in education program in Health University. Research supervision. She has produced one PhD and 5 ongoing PhD degrees, and a M.Ed 8 completed and 1 going on. Research grants. Madam completed grants. SEGI University internal grant scheme in 2016 to 18 for researcher. Fundamental research grant scheme MOSC Malaysia in 2017 and 2019. Fundamental research grant scheme for researcher in 2019 and 2022. Ongoing grants. She has received grants from Health University Internal Research Grant Scheme, Principal Researcher, and Fundamental Research Grant Scheme in the MOSC Malaysia. She has been PhD thesis for PhD thesis assessor for TNTU Chennai and the Madurai Kamaraj University Malaysia. Madam has professional membership ICDS International Council for Open and Distance Education, APROCET Association for Professional in Curriculum and Educational Instruction Malaysia, and Madam, she was the main conference ongoing teaching for Conference Secretariat Global Virtual Conference 2021, Health University Malaysia, and she was chairperson chairperson during the Global Virtual Conference from 14th 21 to 18th December 21 at the Health University Malaysia. And community engagement. Madam has involved in the promoting global advocacy campaign for open, flexible, and distance education organized by International Council of Distance Education, part of working group of in this campaign. This distinguished madam has received many academic awards like Gold Award, Best Paper Award, Gold Medal for the first place in the MPhil degree university examinations in 2012. Research publications, 4 publications in 2023, 7 publications in 2022, 6 publications in 2020, 10 publications in 18-19. Research persons involved guest speaker in international conferences, webinars, conference presentations, proceedings for community engagement in the growth and developments. So I welcome madam. I welcome once again to all. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your brief introduction about our valuable resource person, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, I welcome you, ma'am. Now the session is yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much and very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir. That was a very long introduction, but many things to achieve. It's just very brief things what we have achieved. Okay. But thank you very much for that very warm introduction. And I can see here participants of about 159 participants. That's a huge number. I hope I can meet your expectations in this particular topic on writing course learning outcome. So at this outset, I would also like to express my thanks and my deep gratitude to the organizing secretaries, to our VC of both universities, and to all your effortful. I can see that it's a 5 days of 5 days of intensive workshop, so much of background work and so many things that you need to carry out. So yesterday I was able to watch some sessions joined through the YouTube. I could see that the flow was very good and everything was well received by the participants. I hope they have enjoyed even this morning session and looking forward for today's session. So I thank one and all, and with that I will start with my presentation. So just give me a moment to share my screen. I think I am sharing the screen.
It's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So, writing course outcomes. So it's a very interesting topic. So along the way, you will be doing other workshops or like attending webinars for coming the courses, like after writing the courses, mapping, CLO, PLO mapping. By the way, I may use the term CLO because here in Malaysia, we use the term course learning outcome, which is the same as course outcome. So just, I just want to clarify that. So when I refer as, sometime when I am, refer it as PLO, then it is program learning outcome, and CLO meaning course outcome. So this particular session, we are going to focus on course outcomes. Okay. But writing course outcome, I'm just going to show some innovative ways of writing and kind of make our life easier. But what I'm going to focus much is all about more about how this course learning outcome will take us through along the path of achieving the outcome-based education, which is a big picture. So I'll be focusing much on how the course learning outcome will be mapping against different elements in our OBE. Okay, so here are my learning points. So what we are going to discuss. So explain the sources of defining course outcomes. So from where are we going to take these course outcomes? And then classify outcomes using Bloom's taxonomy, where I'm going to show some application to help us write the outcomes easily. And how to write student learning outcome or course outcome for their course, how to write it. And then finally, what is very important as educators is that critically analyze the implications of CO, how this is playing around the whole of this OBE in terms of the course delivery, course creation, course delivery, course implementation, and evaluation. It is with us all throughout. So I would say that the fourth one is what we need to know in deeper sense to understand the importance of course learning outcome. Okay, so I just had a quick go through searching for information from UGC regarding OBE, and I could get a document right from UGC website. So it is an opportunity for me to compare the OBE practices, what we have been doing here in Malaysia, and what UGC has recommended and what is going on in India. It's actually an opportunity for me to do this, which I wanted to do it for quite some time, couldn't do that. So some points I have taken from there is that it is the demonstrated achievement of outcomes. So it is not just the outcomes, but the student who graduate from learning our program, they need to demonstrate the skill, they need to demonstrate the knowledge, values, and attitudes. So it's not just the acquisition of knowledge, but demonstrated achievement of outcomes. The term demonstrated is very clear. It's not just achievement of outcomes like in a grade sheet or what is your ultimate CGPA when the student graduate from a program, but how well the student can demonstrate the skill, values, aspirations, values, and everything. And alongside, another main area is academic standards of graduates of a program of study. So UGC has given a list of, or I would say a code of conduct, that what we need to look at when we are preparing graduates in our program. So that is interesting to understand what is the objective, why we are moving towards this objective of outcome-based education. So now coming to the OBE's key components, it looks like top-down model. like, okay, it is like directive from the Ministry of Education or Ministry of Higher Education from whichever country, and I'm supposed to follow that. I have no choice. Yes, it is a directive. It is from top down, and we are necessarily need to comply with the standards as it is expected. There is no choice of escape from that. However, as an educator, we do have the primary thing is, responsibilities. Therefore, it is important. So how to go about this? So this is like a funnel, like narrowing down the key components, starting with the vision and mission of the institute. So many of the institute, higher learning institutions, HEIs, I'm sure in India, most of them are, we call it autonomous university or colleges. And here, most of the universities, private or public, all of them are, they are autonomous, but still we comply to what you call NAC. Here we call MQA. We do comply to the MQA or the Ministry of Education, and the accreditation procedure follows from there. So here, therefore, the vision and mission of the institute, whichever institute, that is something important. And then we may have the faculty aim or, faculty mission statements or vision statements sometimes, or the department vision and aims. Then drawing from there, there can be under a department, there can be 4 or 5 n number of programs. But all these programs, though they are all babies of these departments, now they all have to reflect the vision and mission statement. So therefore, the program aim, or you say program outcomes, POs, have to reflect the vision and mission of the department. Now going further, deeper. Now, graduate attributes, okay, fine. This is the institution, and therefore here is my students, my group of students. So what is my vision and mission of my institute? And for what am I doing it? I'm doing for the student, and what am I looking at? So there are a list of attributes given by UGC or by the authorities to see how we are aligned with the national, we call it the national at a larger scale, like we are working towards creating that workforce, so national workforce, right? So we have to see that the alignment of constructive alignment is there across everywhere. There should be a logical flow. So therefore, graduate attributes, and then from there we have the program outcomes, say like bachelor's of education, what are the program outcomes? And from there, we have the number of courses from there. Say like it is a 3 years course, then there are 4, how many courses? And therefore, all these courses come together need to fulfill the program outcomes. And then the subject, it goes on. Therefore, you can see that in totality, it is nothing is like left all alone. They are all interconnected. The more they are interconnected, much better it makes sense, and it is easier both for the educators as well as for the students to navigate and to achieve the expected outcome. The more they are disconnected in these alignments, the more gaps we have, then it becomes difficult both for educators as well as for the students. And ultimately, at the end of the student graduate, we cannot achieve the expected outcome. So more network is what is needed among these components to make it more efficient. Okay, so therefore, moving forward, like what is OBE, all of them, I'm sure you have been listening to these 2 days and you're going to listen to it. So just to a brief about this. So OBE is about the clarity of outcomes. So what am I going to teach, and what am my students going to achieve? What is the skill set? Because skill set is what we are looking at. See, all the while we have been focused on knowledge-based economy. Now it is not knowledge-based economy. Like we are moving towards competency or skill set based, and we we need the 21st century skills for students. It's not about the knowledge. Anything can be done using websites and things like that, and especially with ChatGPT, things becomes very easier. So how well we can demonstrate? So the outcome need to be very explicitly focused on demonstration of skills. Though we can have in a course, say like in our practice here in our university, we will arrange outcomes in such a way that we will have from cognitive, psychomotor and affective domains, as well as at various levels. So a combination of outcomes, both for knowledge and to demonstrate skills. Now, what is OBE is all about designing backward, or which I'm going to discuss in a while. So designing back, but implementing it forward. So that is the unique feature of OBE. And we do have to place high expectations with the students. So it is not just an average pass or just like that, they come and go. But we place high expectations, meaning that depending on the level, say like diploma level, then we have a set of standards. Then if it is undergraduate students, we know the set of standards, postgraduate, and then for PhD. So depending on the level, the assessment and the criteria should be matched with the program standards. So the program standards, of course, relies on their prerequisite knowledge from where they are coming. Okay, they completed for technical colleges, or like whether they are going into bachelor's in education, a bachelor's degree, then they have completed 12 years of study in school. So that becomes the starting point, and therefore high expectations according to the standard need to be set. And what is another interesting feature of OBE is, though it is very rigid and structured, there are many criticisms about OBE. Though we are into following it, I'm not going to touch that topic, but there are so many critics going on around OBE that it is like a cookie cutter and this and that. But then it is important because we cannot take a risk to a large extent of not delivering quality education when it comes to youth development. After 4 years, we cannot regret, oh, I did something wrong. So therefore, we cannot take that risk. So we need to initiate this and need to monitor the process. That's what is important. So therefore, this OBE expanded opportunities gives more importance to student skill set as well as their achievement in providing a variety of student-centered teaching approaches and as well as learning methods. So therefore, yeah, just what we have been discussing, there should be a constructive alignment. So like you go to you have some back pain, you go to a physiotherapist or cryo practitioner and they just do something and align the bones and then you feel a relief. So therefore, here and there something in our body, then we just need to fix it right. So therefore, when we are working, especially as a OBE practitioner, the challenge comes in how to align program goals with course learning outcomes. How to align program aims with so what verb is it good enough to fit in? So the challenge for an OBE practitioner is this alignment across these. It is really a challenging one. So you may want, yes, as an educator, you may wonder how it is like I am teaching these many courses and I have these many set of students and so many things need to be done. Yes, of course, that does need to be done. Okay, but the I would say that from my personal experience, I would say that sometime when we learn, we need to go from top down and then bottom up, top down, bottom up. I kind of trying to learn along the way also. But what I feel still challenging is alignment across the different levels. I hope we will achieve that mastery of that one day. So, yeah, developing. The next thing is demonstrated. Remember the term that I highlighted in the first, demonstrated achievement of outcomes. So anything that is outcome is not simply stated as for a fancy statement, but it is a measurable course learning outcome. So at a university level, at a program level, is it measurable? At a course level, is it measurable? Say, for example, when I'm a lecturer, I'm teaching my course for a semester. And then I design my course, I design my assignments, I deliver it, and then I get students' outcome. And then I map it back against my CLO, which I will discuss towards the end of it. By the way, I have to check my time. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so therefore, it is important that we have to see that what I deliver, like assignments, it is mapped with a course learning outcome. Now, as a lecturer, I may deliver it now. After that, I need to write a report. At the end of course delivery, I need to write a report about my course level achievement of what my students have done. Now, a student may take many number of courses, right? So every year the student, okay, now every time I do this, I deliver the lesson, and then I take the outcome of students, and it is all quantified. That is the very unique feature of OBE. It's not qualitative. Everything is quantified. We need numbers and evidence to justify. So after that, what the program leader will take it is, okay, for this particular cohort of students, what they have achieved for the year 2, they can have to map it, and everything that is automated, Excel sheets or some other software is available. Everything is feed the numbers. It gives you wonderful graphs and outcomes and to explain that. Then we can see what we have achieved in the program level. So say like January 2023, 200 students have joined a program. So over the course of time, in 3 years, they are going to graduate in end of 2026. Over these years, whatever courses they have covered, everything is done, is managed in the database, and we can see for each program aim how much students have achieved. So therefore, the unique feature of what is here is measurable outcome. Everything is quantified, and everything has evidence and proof and numbers to show what is what, which may not be possible with other. Okay, now what is backward design? I was telling about this. Okay, now we start from vision and mission and write the program aim and then program outcome. This is at the broader levels. Okay, and then course outcomes. Okay, I do this. Now I have at the end assessment. I can do this wonderfully, just like you see something you want to order in online, and you see that, wow, so nice. And then when it arrives, you know that how it is fitting you. Okay, this we can do wonderfully, but the challenge comes when it delivers and goes to this stage assessment, and whether this and this matches. So you can see there, every arrow, there is potential gaps, potential room for gap. So minimize the space, then more constructive alignment. So here it is done at prior to delivery of the program or the curriculum implementation. And here is what is implemented, course delivery over the semester. And here is the assessment. Now at the assessment, okay, fine, at a department level or at a lecturer level, we are just concerned about the course, but maybe a program leader will be concerned about program assessment. And of course, at the top tier, at the institutional level, they will be concerned about their institutional achievement. Of course, it is to be computed as well. So most of us, like being a lecturer, would be focused on course assessment. Fine. But we can see at the big picture. So the big picture is what is important. Yes, my course, this only, my lecture, my course outcome, my syllabus, everything. But it is all tied up and married to the big picture, and it is so you can never divorce anything from anywhere. So the more it is apart, the more complications, and it is going to make our life miserable, and also, of course, students' life. So therefore, the network is important here. And how to ensure this network or smooth flow of things is continuous monitoring, is what we say quality assurance, continuous monitoring. As a lecturer, we need to monitor. As a program leader, they have their own way of monitoring that. So closing the loop from assessment to outcomes is important. Now, what is backward design? Now, though we have this, but we keep this in the forefront. Now, at the end of this course, my students have to leave the course with this set of knowledge, values, attitudes. Fine. Now, therefore, how am I going to structure it? And what activities, teaching methods, and everything. So then it is not top down or bottom up. At times it is iterative, where the lecturer have to revisit this way and that way, and finally have to figure it out. So therefore, what is important is closing this loop and making it a cyclical process for continuous quality improvement. Yeah, that is very essential in OBE. So, for example, after the end of each semester, we have a form where we need to write a reflection of what in a qualitative way we write, okay, this course has been taught, the assignment has been, I found that students have find it very difficult to write the assignments, and therefore next semester when it is offered, it need to be simplified and certain things I need to modify. Okay, that is qualitative. Quantitative is we will compute in an Excel sheet the outcome, CLO, if there are 4 CLOs, what is the achievement for each CLOs? So then we usually achieve a better score, not 60% less or anything. Then if it is 60% less, say like CLO 4 is 60% less than 60%, I mean, then what could be the reason? Is it if the topic is not taught, or like is that very difficult, or is it suitable, not suitable for student level? So every learning outcome is at the end, we measure it. So in that way, we can see the continuous measurement, and we next time we remap it, align it, and that process is an ongoing process. So yeah, so this is what I've been explaining. So I think the font here disappeared, or not disappeared. I think it's somewhere hidden. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. So design the curriculum is going from vision to the top. So from top down. Okay. But when it is delivered, always we keep in the mind, okay, today I am going to the class. So from this lesson, I expect my students to achieve this. That comes to the conscious level of the lecturer, and then, or the instructor, and then the students' assignment preparation, everything is, we keep that in the forefront. So that is something important. Oh yeah, it is here. Okay, so here are the graduate attributes. So looking at the skill sets, what UGC is recommending, I taken from this particular website, page number 8, and it is 2020, published in 2020. So I hope it is a recent one. So here are the attributes for undergraduate program, quite an exhaustive one. And as an educator, how am I going to prepare my students with all these skill sets is quite daunting. Yeah. But as an educator, we need to constantly strive for it, and excellence is somewhere we can achieve it someday. Yes, but nevertheless, we need to cater to look at the variety of competence listed here. Some of them are direct, it's from 21st century skills. Yeah. It's touching on knowledge level, skills, values, attitudes, critical thinking, affective, behavioral. So I'm sure you have been listening to today or like in many other OBE forums, the Bloom's taxonomy for the three different domains like cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Right, and you see the variety of the skill sets this is displayed, and we can right away map it like this is on cognitive, this is on something on demonstrative, so psychomotor, and also affective. It can be critical thinking is cognitive, problem solving is cognitive, and research related. I would say that it is also effective because you need a passion to be very innovative, to do a research that is worthwhile doing it. Cooperation, teamwork, and is affective. Scientific writing, it's cognitive as well as it is, psychomotor, reflective. So you can see the variety of skill sets which you map against the different domains. You have to sit and explore the importance of it. So then it really makes a lot of contribution when we design our course. Now here is what we have been following in Malaysia. We call it Malaysian framework, quality framework. And this is 2.0 version. And we have been practicing it. Previously, it was 1.0, and then now it is 2.0 since 2017, if I'm not mistaken. We have been following this. So therefore, we have these set of 11 standards, we call it. There are some sub-standards. Now later when I show some samples of work, how we align our course content and outcome, I will refer to these standards again when I show some examples. And when I compare this with that, yes, it is all like the skills are both sides almost the same, but how it has been organized is a bit different. That's it. But it broadly covers all the 21st century skills that we can really assure them. So therefore, now OBE is course outcomes. So we have to keep this graduate attribute and then qualification descriptors, which is at the assessment level, how we want to describe, and then program outcome and course outcome. Now, just a general question, just how many number of CLOs are needed? Maybe you may want to post your response, or anyone want to, I'm not sure whether participants can mute, but unmute and say an answer. But how many number of course outcomes do you think is just nice for a course? Or is it needed? How many is a minimum requirement? Oh, but yeah, please put in a chat. Okay, 5.
Participants, you can put your answer in chat box.
Okay, thank you for that. 3 to 5, 4 to 6. Okay, 5, 6, 3 to 4. Okay, so good. Okay, but I take it that you have some rationale behind giving these numbers and simply not some random numbers, right? I'm sure that you may have some rationale which you can put it. Why you give that number? You just put it in the chat. Say like you said 5, on what ground you decided it should be 5. Right? There is some purpose with the number of CLOs, right? Why we cannot have 10 CLOs? Of course, it's not that common sense answer, but then it is simply not achievable in 14 weeks or like in a semester time. Right. So therefore, there should be some rationale. I would like to hear your response. Minimum is 3, maximum depends on the number of units. Yeah. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah, 5, and then okay. So most of you have given an option of 3 to 5. Yeah, that's what I see, and a few have given 6. Okay, yeah, a few of you have given 6 also. Yeah, but mostly I see 5. Okay. So fine then, thank you for your response. Yes. Now, what we follow, but maybe you can share what is being practiced in our university there. what we generally follow here is that a 3 credit hour course, meaning at least a minimum of 3, and 4 is what is fine. 5 is something not usual if for a 3 credit hour course. So three credits, 3 learning outcomes to 4 learning outcomes. Now, yes, one of the participants told that it should cover the content. Yes, whatever learning outcome, it is not cherry picking from somewhere and something like, but then the purpose is to cover all the content that is listed, right? That is very essential. And then the topic, assignments, activities, everything should be aligned well, right? So that is very important. Anything else? Okay. So 4 learning outcomes in a semester is most likely achievable. And what I would suggest is, it's not many is better. It's not that many is better or too little is better. And moderately covering the topic. So when you list down the topics, what we usually do is the first few classes, like, generally it's a knowledge-based knowledge-based topics like introductory topics. And gradually as students go, we will take them through a higher like analysis or demonstrative skills. And towards the end of the semester, they have some mastery over the content, and the topic, the intensity or the depth of the topic is much more heavier than what they started in the first week. So therefore, when we arrange the learning outcome also, you can consider one at a lower level, mostly at a knowledge level to begin with, because without knowledge, we cannot go and demonstrate anything, right? So first thing first is mostly at least the course one learning outcome should be on a cognitive level, either at a C1 or C2 comprehending level, or you can go to C3, but not straight away starting with the C4, C5 unless they are third year students. So if they are, so the program of study is important. The year of study or the semester is important. So if students are in the first year, most of the time it will be C2, C3. And then as they go to third level, it will be at a higher level. Right. And therefore, arranging the content also, you can gradually increase the level of domain in each of these. In that way, you can see that students who are very kind of need more assistance or slow learners also have something to learn, and also students who are competent and can demonstrate well, they do have. So you can cater to the different learning needs of students. So it's not all at a high level, and then finally you are in a trouble, and when students cannot demonstrate, you are answerable, right? So we educators need to see that we practice OBE at the same time, we deliver to student-centered approaches, at the same time we make them achieve the outcome what is planned or the intended outcome. So generally, this is the practice. Maybe you can put in the chat, like if you have any rationale on what is the thing, but you can reflect on it later as well. Okay. Now, therefore, as an OBE practitioner, this is the simple question that you need to ask to yourself. Where am I taking my students to, right? So they are going to be with me for this entire semester. Oh, what am I going to do with them? Where am I taking them to, right? And what am I going to do with them in every time I meet them for a class? And what activity is there for them? What am I going to teach, lecture, or what tutorials, or assignment task, or group activity, or what kind of activity have I planned? So at a document level, sometimes it can be very well written, very well printed, but most of the time the challenge comes when we don't transfer that document into reality. So this, I would suggest that as noble educators, we as practitioners, we need to constantly reiterate to ourselves, okay, I am doing this for this, and these are the purpose statement. If a student fails, it's not that the learning or that a particular lecturer or the instructor who taught fails. It's not ultimately the one. But at the end of the outcome, right, at the end of the course, the student outcome reflects on the quality of the course that is delivered. I'm not saying about the instructor, but the quality of the course being delivered. It can be here and there, whatever challenges and issues twining there. Right. So I would say that a conscious practitioner, OBE practitioner, will always have purpose. Right from a course delivery, even for a 1 hour lecture, there is a purpose, intended purpose. That's very crucial. Now, what is the difference between outcome and output? Just a simple one to consider, right? We see that, okay, there are so many critical points and criticisms are also going on around OBE. So then, okay, now outcome is something that is measurable. That is demonstrated, which is more humanistic, I would say that, apart from what is listed here. But output is more mechanical, right? I say like, okay, I know the process, this is a machinery, I know the process and what will be the output of it. So when we say output, we are not delivering mechanical products or inanimate. The education is all about humanistic principles and approaches, and it is nothing to say as an output. It's outcome. So output is already preset. I run the software, I run the program. I know if the program is fine, it's objectivity. So output has more objectivity. Based on the process is the product. Outcomes, there are so many, I would say issues, challenges in meeting the constructive alignment across the elements, what we discussed. Because students are students. We are lecturers, yes. We all have our own human tendency to make mistakes, right? But we do not avoid a big blunder, but just mistakes are common. Therefore, here and there could be glitches and small gaps acceptable, right? So therefore, outcomes is more humanistic, but however, having said that, it should be demonstrative. It should be student learning outcome, should be very demonstrative or measurable, right? Okay. Now, I think I can skip this slide. Okay. Now, what is an outcome? So finally, coming to an outcome, what I want my students to achieve at the end of this course. So I'm going to list it down. By the end of this course, students should be able to explain differences between A and B, and then critically analyze whatever that, and then something on psychomotor, something on leadership or communication skills. So I will have not all at a level like a remember level or a comprehending level. I will pick one from cognitive, two from psychomotor, or depending on the nature of the course. If I am teaching critical thinking skills, and say, for example, I am teaching critical thinking skills, of course, critical thinking is more related to cognitive level. So then my learning outcomes will reflect that. It will be at the C4, C5, even if students like go until C6, if the program standard allows, we can go until C6. And of course, we can also ask them to demonstrate the skill. Right. And there is no much room for, it's not that totally no room, but there's not much room for affective domain in a critical thinking class. Maybe if at all you're so creative and an innovative lecturer, maybe one COs can be there, right? In a say like students in taking initiativeness in addressing problems, finding solution to a problem using critical thinking skills. Okay, that is something on affective level. So therefore, the nature of course also it gives important. The program level, the current student, which year what they are taking it, and then also the nature of the content, what they are doing also is important in determining the domains. Though I have not put anywhere the domains because I'm sure you have been listening to domains in in other, other webinars also, right? So I'll just discuss it. Otherwise, my slides will go until 60, 70. Yeah. Okay. Now, what are learning outcomes? I think first, these things we have already discussed. Now, what I would like to come focus here in this is that we stop with the course outcome. Now, course outcome need to be mapped with the lessons or the topic. So as I was explaining, okay, now I have 4 course learning outcome. I have 14 topics. I have 14 topics. Now, topic 1 refers to which learning outcome? Is it just 1 or 2 or like 1 and 3? By the way, when this is something what I learned recently, that when we arrange course learning outcome, it has to be in a gradual order, say like from lower to higher order. Like example, one course learning outcome is at a comprehension level, and the second or the third one is at another level, say evaluation level. Then first should be the C1, and then the next should be the course. The second outcome should be C2. So therefore, if we have content for 14 weeks, and then I say like, how am I going to map it to topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, like that, right? So that also need to be, we need to be conscious about that. And then task outcome. So once we have done topic versus course outcome, topic versus course outcome, and then today lesson, then you have week plan, okay, or the day plan or whatever you prepare. Okay, in my class today, I'm going to teach topic number 3, and this is the course learning outcome which I have already mapped in my syllabus. Therefore, my learning activity should be focused on this. So after lecture, I'm sure you have a distribution, like in a 3 hours, you have 1 hour, 2 hours lecture, or like some tutorial, some discussion, right? So therefore, tasks need to be given. Now, previously, before COVID, we used to follow this kind, it's a kind of thumb rule, but not stated in any policy document. It's usually 3 hours straight lecture, means 2 hours or 1 hour, 30 minutes lecture, and 1 hour of tutorial we need to conduct, and some break time. So that's the policy. But now because we moved to blended learning, and there are different approaches. But still, whatever it is, whether it is face-to-face or online, we still have to do that. So task outcome need to be mapped with the lesson outcome, and lesson outcome need to be mapped with this, right? So we are focusing mainly on this level. Now, POs and COs, yes, it is directly linked to that. Let me skip, because I think I discussed this. Now, program aims, POs and COs. So program aims are generally very broad. Program aims, I think, yeah, this is the one. Program aims are generally very broad. Yes, there is a verb. And it also contains the context, but generally it is stated as an aim. But when it comes to course learning outcome, it is very narrow. For example, a program learning outcome for a Bachelor of Education students, it could be like by the end of this program, students will be able to demonstrate teaching skills to suit 21st century learning skills, or take initiative in solving problems related to educational issues. Okay, very general. Say I am teaching a course which is course learning outcome. I am teaching a course on professional development, which is a 3rd-year course in a Bachelor's of Education program. For sure, it's not a 1st year. Right, then I may consider, okay, there is a program outcome on facing educational issues and critically analyzing educational issues and propose solutions or something along that line. Then I may consider for this particular course on program professional development, this particular one, and I may write it in a very specific manner, saying that propose solutions for educational issues, or say like in classroom management, propose solutions for problems in managing classroom or something along that. So it becomes very specific. Now the program objective is just solving problems in educational settings, but when it takes shapes in the course outcome, then it becomes very specific. So that's the fine tuning that we need to be aware. And actually, if you rely on the program outcome and you map it, the words and the cognitive, the level, the domain, map everything, it becomes very easy. So program objective, first objective is at cognitive level. Then I take it, the cognitive level for a course, and I write it. I say I am taking it for program objective 1. Then my course objective should also be at the same level like cognitive domain and at the same level. Is it at C4, C5? But that can be minute changes is fine. But the domain should be the same. So this is where we see that they are interconnected. We cannot separate it, program outcomes and COs. Okay, so COs also we have this verb condition and this. Maybe I will introduce this. I'm not sure whether some of you are familiar with this, but you can download this from the website. Okay, just hold on. Yeah, I will open this. Yeah. Okay, this is something handy. Actually, it's from one of the website or somewhere, but there are many versions available. Okay, this is something easy for us to start with. I was using it quite frequently, but for now, I'm a bit okay with that because we are in an education field and to some extent, we are dealing with these verbs. So still there are so many things to be done, and every time is like, oh, it's like eye opener, like when we learn something. Oh, this is how I've been missing all this for all these days. Okay, but I suggest this is a wonderful one. I see so many responses, by the way. Oh, okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. All right. So here is a scale, and I am enlarging it a bit more possible. Okay. So here is something like type a word. So maybe I say like analyze. Okay, analyze. So analyze. It's sometimes we say like the verb. Is it a cognitive or is it a psychomotor or is it affective? So it's not that verb alone makes sense. The context is important. I can say analyze problems, educational issues, and it can be at affective level if it is really intended to solve and show the outcome, meaning that the student really solved the problem. Analyze, or you can say like a student going to a school to observe students or like something. It can be at affective level, but still it's an analysis. So what I would say that is the verb alone will not make any sense. It should be with the ABCD, and all the parts of the objective make sense, right? So therefore, the context is important. Now, I just type analyze, and then it shows that analyze is at C4 level. Okay, this shows only at a cognitive level. Say like I put demonstrate. Now demonstrate. Whether it is at P2 level. Sometimes this one, I'm not, I'll try my best. Sometimes it needs some glitches and I cannot. Otherwise, let me try. Okay, this is a word selection. And we can see that at P1, we have different words. Or is it slow? I'm not sure. I don't want to waste much time on that because sometimes when we share all this, it takes a bit difficult to Okay, this window is working. Okay, so P2 level, we have like psychomotor, begin, display, explain, move, proceed. So say like explain, I just put explain here. So is it explain is always at a C2 level? No, we see that explain is at many domain. Yeah, now it shows. Okay, explain is at many domains. You can see at C2, it can explain, can also be at a C6 level when it is at a critically analyzed. And it can be at a organizing values. Explain how would you demonstrate leadership value in a school setting, right? It is effective leadership value. And skill set, explain. So it is like say a student observe a micro teaching and then explain about that, right? So then it is demonstrated. So therefore the verb alone doesn't make a clear meaning of what we are looking at. The context is important. So when you write the verb with the context, then it makes a clear understanding. Now, another interesting one, this is actually not a web application, but another one that I would like to share with you is this. Just hold on, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is here. You can just go and Google search MIT Learning Objective Builder. Usually it is though objective and outcome. Objective is more teacher or like instructor, lecturer oriented, right? Outcome is from student perspective. Objective is from the teacher or instructor perspective. Now you just go to Google search and just type in there Learning Objective Builder. You can see many objective builders are here. Like this one is most commonly used. I just post this in the Google link. I mean in the what you call the Zoom link. I want to save this for later use. I haven't tried all this, but usually when I want to use, I take it the MIT one, which is also open source. Okay, so generally you can go and click it. And you see this objective builder, because what we are doing is all about this. So in this link, they are given some instructions. This follows the CABD format. Okay, build an object about an objective builder. Let me enlarge, give me a minute. Okay, so here we have this. Okay, based on this condition, audience, behavior, degree. So these are the 4 things that we need to consider: ABCD or CABD format. Okay, condition, what condition? And audience, of course, students. Behavior, is it at what cognitive or affective? And degree, it also refers to the levels in the Bloom's taxonomy. And condition is about the subject, what you're looking at, what subject. Okay, so here example, here they have given some example. You take time to explore. Now here you may say like condition, okay, please state as specifically as possible what will be provided to the audience. Example, a thesis statement, a quadratic equation or something. So what will be provided to the audience? So like I say, article, say like my objective is to critically review article. Okay, so I just put a research article. I'm giving this to research students. Typically the generic word student is used. However, if you have, so we generally use the name student, right? So we just put student. And then select the domain. So, okay, now, of course, everything will not be automated like ChatGPT. Maybe give us something, but then this makes us more meaningful, right? Okay, now select the domain. Of course, article review is more of critical reading and writing. I select it. Select the level. It is article review. is not evaluate. It may be more of analysis. And select a verb. So I say like article review. Select a verb for article review. I mean, generally it is summarized, but I'm looking for writing anything on that. So never mind. We will just look for something here. So evaluate. Okay, product. Product is what we are looking at is review summary. 30 minutes. No, I skipped this. Given research article student. Now, this is just a trial. Now, we may consider this. You go and actually I had some samples written here, but I left the one that what I apologize for that. I wrote some samples for this particular one. I tried the same way. But I take you take this opportunity to explore. Actually, it gives you a kind of idea to determine. Okay, so what I would like to generally say here, from what I want to share here, is that the context is important. This is the context, what we are looking at, the domain and everything. So not just the verb will be sufficient to determine it. Okay. Now, moving on with this. Okay, 5:34 for me here. Now, there are some verbs that we cannot use it, like for which is very abstract, like understand. How do you know understand? Whether unless you ask question to the student, they won't understand, right? We need to ask them the question. And no is very abstract. So when we write, we need to be very sure that these are actionable verbs that can be measurable, observable, and main thing is it should be observed, because everything need to be quantified in OBE. That's the thing, right? So therefore, measurable, achievable, and observable are very, very important. This. So now, coming to course content, therefore, in my course, I may have several objectives. And for each objectives, I want to have some exit skill with knowledge as well as skill or values. Then therefore, I focus my learning content in parallel with this, right, in this objective. And therefore, when the student achieve, or like when the student complete a course, they achieve all the intended objectives that we have listed. Now, where can be the gaps? The gaps can be when we don't deliver focus on this learning target. Everything can be very well in place, but when the learning target is missed, or like when students' learning is missing, then the purpose fails. The course content, we cannot deliver the expected outcome. So here is the key for the success. The key for the success is align the learning objectives, and not the learning objective, the learning target, what we are teaching them, that need to be mapped back to objective. So these are SMART objectives: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and it should be time bound. So that's why, and when we just had a discussion on how many learning outcomes is just nice for a course. So the criteria is the level of students, the credit hours, and then the topics that is covered. And we need to see that it should be achieved. The more we list, then more topics are also needed. The more learning target or like learning activities are needed. The more number of assessments is also very important, because assessment is where outcome is measured. So therefore, not listing it with many actually gives us too many other things to be done down the way, like, so therefore we need to be mindful about how many outcomes we have for an objective. Say for an example, this one, learning objective. By the way, I have a time, how many minutes more, ma'am? Sorry for the interruption.
I'm 20 minutes, ma'am.
Oh, 20 minutes more. Okay, then I will come back to this later. Yeah. Okay. Now, I would like to show some examples in the closing the loop. Okay, 20 minutes, but I want to have some time for Q&A. Okay. Now, closing the loop is what is important in OBE, right? Okay. Now, let us see how this is going. So we have the student learning outcome and the course learning outcome. So it has to be mapped. Okay, let me skip this for a while because I've been explaining this all the while. Now, what we have been practicing here, I want to show some sample. Now, this is an extract from program learning, course learning, CLO versus PLO, course versus PLO mapping. So for a program here, we usually have 11 PLOs. For the particular program, say like bachelor's in education, we have 11 PLOs. And these are the courses listed. So my first course is from targeting at these PLOs, we write. So mostly PLO 11, which is on PLO 11 is on entrepreneurship. So that's why there's very less room in our program because there is also a course on entrepreneurship, but it is only one course. So therefore, you can see this is not much addressed, but the nature of the course is like that. It's not something wrong. So you can see that the different courses, okay, here is a course number 1, 2, 3, like that. It maps across the courses, okay? So this is courses versus PLO mapping. Now, it takes its shape here when it comes to the syllabus. So this is a course syllabus we have. And down here, this is on a course about... Okay, this is on a course about the teaching practical. Okay, so here, demonstrate teaching skills that suit the curriculum standards and needs of 21st century learners. Demonstrate is at the P3 level and PLO3 is at the PLO3, the program outcome. PLO is program outcome. CLO is CO, okay? So here, apply creative and critical thinking skills, so which is at a cognitive level. Don't take C3 as a Bloom's taxonomy C3, but it is at a higher level as well. Now, display leadership skills, and this is at affective level. Okay, and this is for diploma program. So therefore, we don't keep very high level because very high level comes with for the master program. So that's why we limit to maximum is C3, C4 in each of it. Okay. Now demonstrate adherence to teaching ethics and professionalism. So this is at the psychomotor level. So we cater to different levels. So this is mapping against CO versus PLOs. You see along the way how CO it runs through the course. So this is the CO, which is map. Now we have this CO versus PO, which is mapped with the different domain. And here you can see that similar to the UGC graduate attributes, we have the MQF attribute. Remember, I show in the very first beginning, there are Malaysian, we follow the MQF attribute. So I need to map against each of these attributes, each of the outcome. I'm going to map it. Now, I have to carefully, therefore, the POs are also matched like PLO3 here. If you refer to this, PLO3 is mapped to this attribute. So therefore, PLO3 is mapped to this attribute. I take the CO from PLO3. So therefore, it is also psychomotor and I map it to it. So it is the constructive alignment that you can see here. Now, here are the teaching methods to achieve. And now I have 4 learning outcomes. Something is missing because there are 4. Okay, now 4 learning outcomes. Therefore, for 4 learning outcomes, I should have 1 here also. What are the teaching methods and assessment methods listed? So for learning outcome 1, something like lecture and tutorial discussion, say like CLO4, I want to take them to a field trip example, not for this one, but just then I will put a field trip. Then assessment, maybe they have to write a report after the field trip about what they learned, right? So therefore, the assessment need to be mapped. Therefore, now CLO4 in this case is demonstrate, which is at P4 level. Therefore, going down, I have to see which topic is P4 level. So for which topic I can arrange for field trip and what they need to do. So it's actually a very comprehensive exercise, preparing a thing. So that's why once we prepare and set it, we don't want to change too many things quite often. So this is CLO versus the graduate attributes, CLO versus teaching methods, CLO versus assessment method. Now some more details. For each topic, what CLOs are covered, and what will be the lecture hours, tutorial hours, and what will be the non-face-to-face learning hours. So all that will be covered. Now, assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, how many learning hours? I'm sure you will be having some other workshop on SLT, student learning time. So we need to map with this. And this is the final mapping that we have a master table, where for course number 1, I have 3 CLOs, and for program learning outcome is covering 1 and 2, just a part of it, 1, 2, and 3. At cognitive level, this is at cognitive level C2. CLO2 is at cognitive level C4. CLO3 is at PLO9. Now, most of them ask, can I not have here also 1, 1, and here also 1, and here also? Why it should be mapped 1 versus 1 to make our life easier? That's the simplest answer. We have tried, I mean, personally also from what we have been practicing, the more we put it here, the more complicated when we design assignments. So we retain it. But some institutions, they do practice mapping it against 2, but not 3. Because more it is mapped, more networking, more kind of, you can see the networks and complications. So we keep it simple and we see the best, it is best mapped across each of it. So you see here, the course learning outcome is mapped across this. And this is for the program, entire program, we have the master sheet. So for the 11 PLOs, how much is for each, like how many courses, how many learning outcomes at a PLO 1 level, PLO 2 level, how many outcomes are there? So as I told, 11 is about entrepreneurship, which has less room in education program. You see only one program covers, one course covers 1 learning outcome or 2 or 3 learning outcome. Therefore, you see here it is. So for each program learning outcome, therefore my program, what I'm delivering more is mostly focused on the first 3 PLOs and also to some extent 5. And here is about the cognitive domain. So I can say this is from a diploma program, I guess I have taken. So at a C2 level. Now at the affective domain, we can go until A3 and A4. And also at a psychomotor domain, it is at a 3 level. So most of my learning outcomes are in these areas. So this is my overall learning outcomes and across each of these domains in the entire program. Yeah, I hope you're with me. I'm rushing up. Okay, now this is, the same one I have put, right? Now, this is across the graduate standards MQF domain. So for this, we have 11 standards, and therefore across this, how is our program mapping for the graduate standards? Now that we don't limit, we go further, like this is a course on early childhood research that I'm teaching. So I have 3 learning outcomes in this, and this is mapped against the PLO. When I design, like I have designed this, we ensure that which CLO has mapped along with. So like assignment 1 is mapped with CLO 1 and CLO 2. And it is furthermore, when we design the rubric for the assignment, then it should be reflected with the domain as well as with the level of domain what we are assessing. So it takes you along the way like a river, like along the way. Once you have decided for one course learning outcome, it shows its presence every single in every single manner in your program, and that is the core of the strength of the program. Okay, so it will be reflected in the rubric also, though I have not taken it from there. Now, after the students have done the exam, then we need to go back and see that assignment 1 mapped against CLO 1 and 2. Therefore, for CLO 1, how much they have achieved, everything we need to put it enter marks. As I told, outcome-based education is evidence-based education. Everything need to be quantified. So after that, for each of the outcome, I will have to enter the marks. We do practice that. We have to enter the marks. Question number 1 is at cognitive level 2. Then we need to enter the marks, everything computed. This is something, the sheet that we need to compute, where students, and for each question, what they have gained, we need to enter these marks. And against the PLOs and taxonomy, and this Excel will beautifully give us the graph, what I showed here. So we just have to enter the marks, but before that, we need to do the mapping. Question number 1 is against which domain, against which PLO and which CO, of course, yeah. Then it will give, now this is the learning outcome that we need to look at. So my intended outcome is how much, and how much is my learning outcome. It will give you, okay, for PLO 1, it is 70%, PLO 2 is 60%, PLO 3 is 50%. And you can see the numbers here based on how much students, yeah, here is you can see here also how much students have achieved in each of the PLOs. Now, this is an indicative. We're closing the loop. You may want to consider improving the course. You have to relook into redefining the course learning outcome or the topics or the delivery, or where is that missing link. Now, that's what we need to identify and fix that to improve the outcome. So therefore, we have all this course learning outcome in place, starting from construction until the delivery, where it is measured across or at all point of time. Yeah, I think I have done for now. Let me open up the floor for questions if because time, yeah, is, yes, I think just 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you for your patience listening. I hope you have managed to deliver what is the purpose of this session. Thank you very much. Okay, please post your questions or feel free to just unmute and ask the question.
Thank you very much, madam. Very informative session.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks for giving an opportunity to share.
Dear participants, if you have any query, kindly type it in the chat box. Ma'am, this question is from Dr. M. Bhavani.
Yes, ma'am.
How to apply the K3 level in arts, especially in subject for history?
Ma'am, what level?
K3 level.
Is it knowledge level 3?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, yeah. I was going through yesterday the UGC standards. What is K3 level, if you don't mind, or shall I just limit myself to knowledge? Because yesterday I remember moving from lower level knowledge until metacognitive knowledge in UGC guidelines. Yeah, there are several levels of knowledge, but I cannot exactly remember what is K3. What is K3, or shall I just limit it to knowledge level? Can someone say what is K3?
She mentioned
Yeah.
only K3. It's
Oh.
Dr. Bhavani. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Bhavani, would you like to say
Yes.
what is K3? Okay, anyway, I will just maybe I have no time to Google search. Okay, so looking at that, it's at a moderate level. At what program, ma'am? It is Dr. Bhavani's program is
This is for arts,
arts program. Okay,
especially in subject for history.
history. Okay,
Yeah.
so generally for any knowledge-based level, what we can do mostly what we have been doing on knowledge is simple, we say simple recall, identify all at a very low level. Now in a history, what we can do is we can ask students, say like even like you can ask about a historical place, ask the student to search for information on a historical place. And if you want to do it at a it's at a knowledge level, ask them to give facts about that historical place, because knowledge is all about facts, right? Ask them to collect some facts and then give them the sources from where they retrieved it. Right, so they are going for hunt for information, identify, and they are comprehending it and sourcing out from authentic sources, compiling it, and therefore they are having at the outcome of learning it, right? They have gained the knowledge, because specifically K means knowledge, so I'm just limiting to that, right? So this will be a good exercise. Have I answered?
Thank you, ma'am. And one of the question, he didn't mention his name. During CLO, PLO mapping, we need to insert tick only, or do we need to mention the extent of correlation between the two? Example, high, medium, and low. Please clarify.
Okay, this is also at another. I have also heard about this, like what level they have. So when we are mapping one PLO versus CLO, to what extent we correlate, we can actually measure it high, medium, low. But the tricky part is once you mention it at the outcome, we really need to show how do you now, what is H, what is L, or what is moderate and what is low. To what level do we define it? And it's not just defining, but when we come to the outcome, how do we really take that to quantify that, right? And then when it is done across the topics, how do we say that it is low, high, moderate? It's not that we cannot do it. It's quite a complex process. But with automated Excel, but manually, it is very difficult to do all this. We need some automated Excel sheets with macros or like softwares to handle all this data. Otherwise, it's a nightmare for educators. So it is possible, yes. That even fine-tuned to even to a narrower extent in explaining in very detail. Yes, it is possible.
Thank you, ma'am. And one more question from Dr. Sasikala. Is there any minimum level of attainment? If not attained, what is the procedure for corrective action?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. So this again goes to the institution practice of how much is the attainment should be. So basically the attainment is just can you give me a minute, because here it is automated lock. If the room get locked, it will be quite difficult. Just give me a minute. I keep the door open.
Sure.
Oh, this is here. Okay.
If you have any doubt, you can put your question in the chat box.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So someone is here in the office, so no problem. Okay. Yeah, I was with the. Yeah, the question is bit lost.
Is there any minimum level of attainment? If not
yeah.
attained, what is the procedure for corrective action?
Yes, thank you for that, ma'am. Yes, actually, it is set by the institution standards. So I know like 50 is a minimum pass for students. So as an educator, what do you think a pass mark for you? So it is the institution practice. So maybe at least a 60, it is recommended. So it is not, the lecturer has no authority to decide on that minimum level. So usually here we have about 60, at least 60, and not all the learning outcomes are 60, at least one learning outcome. Certainly students can perform in one better and one maybe little less. So it is set by the institution standards and practices, I would say. Yeah. Anything else?
Ma'am,
Thank
many
you, ma'am.
participants are asking your PPT, ma'am. Can you
Actually,
share
my
your
PPT,
PPT, ma'am?
yeah, I will share it because I will take away all those demonstrations, what I have put, because it is part of course outcome. So,
Okay, ma'am.
yeah, I will share the rest of it. Sure.
Thank you, ma'am, for your humble response.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Participants, any other questions? You can put your questions in chat box.
Okay, some of you have asking me. Okay, so I'll just put my email ID here for any. Okay. Some of you asking for a course builder. Huh? I actually posted it, the course builder. Let me just have a look again. Okay, here it is. Okay, where is the Zoom? Okay, you can just Google search course builder, course outcome builder, and you should be able to find some. Any more questions? Thank you for your wonderful presence. I hope I have delivered your expectations on this learning outcomes. I had few samples but couldn't go through because I took some time in the initial part.
Akila, ma'am, go for a note of thanks, ma'am.
Yes, can. Okay, thank you thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Your explanation about the components of outcome-based education was very educative, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. I may now call upon Ms. U. Akilandeshwari to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Nandini. Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, faculty members, and participants for our fourth session of 5-day International Online Faculty Development Program organized by Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University in association with Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. Gratitude is not only the greatest of all virtues, but the parent of all others. So I'm grateful to take this opportunity to thank you, our conveners, Dr. P.C. Nagasubramani sir, Registrar IC, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, and Dr. K. Geeta ma'am, Principal Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. And I thank our organizing secretaries, Dr. V. Sharmila ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Educational Technology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, and Dr. Sendamal Pavai ma'am, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. I would like to extend my warm gratitude to our resource person, Dr. Priyadashini Muthukrishnan, Senior Lecturer, Department of Education, Help University, Malaysia, who presented on writing course outcome. Thank you, ma'am. That was a flawless presentation. It was innovative and informative. And also I'd like to thank Dr. Jagannathan sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Pedagogical Sciences, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai, who introduced the resource person to the session. I would like to extend my warm wishes and thank you to the participants, to all who participated eagerly and made the session successful. On behalf of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, I thank you once again. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you again.
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone. It's I see 430, around 30 participants. It's nice meeting you all. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you,
See you
ma'am.
in another forum.
Thank you,
ma'am.
madam.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank
Thank
you all once again. I thank you all. Dear participants, I request you to fill up the feedback form. The link will be posted in the chat box. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you for organizing this, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.